This is a Montie moment. I'm Johnny Montalbano, getting you ready for week one, the real start to the college football season with a full weekend of games. We've got action on Thursday, on Friday, of course, Saturday, some Sunday, and yes, an intriguing ACC matchup on Labor Day Monday. We had a nice little appetizer last Saturday with 7 FBS games. We had an FCS kickoff. We even had a MEAC SWAC challenge game. And when I look back at last week, and just 1 second, maybe be a little biased in saying this, but I think we saw a difference with Sam Hartman there, already making an impact for Notre Dame as they blew past Navy 42-3. And it's amazing the difference when you have a stellar quarterback. So a nice start for the Fighting Irish in Marcus Freeman's second year. Also, a faster paced college game. Noticed that last week, especially with those first downs early on. It's nice. It's a nice little change. It's nothing bad about a 3-hour college game. We'll see how that impacts. I think that might be an impact as well on one of these games that we're going to pick for you here in week number 1. So last week we went 2-1. Nice little start. We'll try and get off to a nice fast start here in 2023, which we really were not able to do last year in 2022. As I said, the slate of games this weekend, you've got almost like a 5-day work week of games starting. Just some of them starting now as we premiere this. Obviously, tonight you've got Florida traveling to Utah. We've got some games on Friday. But what we're going to do for you here in the picks is we're going to pick a Saturday night game. We're going to pick one of the Sunday night games. And I am going to pick that intriguing ACC matchup on Monday night because I think that is a very underrated matchup to discuss. So when I look at the games here, I'm trying to find one that, I'm going to maybe be a little biased and be a little local here in game number 1, as we're going to go to a neutral site up in Charlotte, North Carolina. At 7:30 p.m. Eastern, you've got the 21st ranked North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks. And if you all like points, then I think this game is for you because both teams really have no D. And what I mean by that is no D in their school names, no D in their locations, nor on the field. So it's going to come down to who can make plays more and perhaps maybe a play. And when you talk about the Tar Heels, you talk about quarterback Drake May, who is one of the top prospects for the 2024 NFL Draft. His counterpart over there at South Carolina, quarterback Spencer Rattler, still has plenty of pro potential despite the fact that he's taken a tougher road and a longer road to get to the league than expected. But when I look at this, the Gamecocks, I think they have to be far more consistent, and a few key parts from last year's team are gone. And the line, I think, the offensive line's got to give Rattler more time to unleash his cannon and hit the plays downfield. But when that's happened, when things have clicked for the Gamecocks, like it did last year, they were spoilers last year. Let's be honest. They screwed up Tennessee's shot to the playoff. They ruined Clemson's slim chances that they had. So when everything clicks for the Gamecocks, then they look great. But also, they've been able to move the offense at times, but they also have had a ton of problems. They had a minus 27 turnover rate last year. And I think a few of those are going to be enough for the revamped Tar Heels defense to do a lot of bending without breaking. For the Tar Heels, if the defense can be anything but not awful, Drake May, I think, in the offense should be able to rock and roll against a Gamecock defense that has not proven that it's had a pass rush. And, you have to get to the quarterback no matter if it's high school, college, or pro. Shane Beamer, the head coach for the Gamecocks, has done some great things for that school, but I don't think it's going to be here. The Tar Heels are 2.5-point favorites. I think they have just enough. I think they make that one key play on defense to get the job done. But I think a lot of points are going to be scored. Don't be surprised this game's in the high 30s. I think maybe even a 40-pointer will get it done here. I would take the over, which is 63.5, and I would take the Tar Heels laying the 2.5 in game number 1. Again, this is going to be a neutral site game. College Game Day crew is going to be there up in Charlotte. You're probably going to have some more Gamecock fans than Tar Heel fans in this one, but I'm gonna go with the Tar Heels in a big spot for Mac Brown too. He would love to try and get the Tar Heels to the ACC championship. When you talk about the ACC, you talk about Clemson, talk about Florida State, but the Tar Heels are going to try and get themselves in this race as well. So go with the Tar Heels laying the 2.5. That's what we'll do in game number 1. I almost went with another local game here in South Carolina in game number 2. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, their season debut is going to be out on the West Coast against UCLA, and the Bruins were only laying 14.5. And I was going to go with UCLA because I'm surprised the line is as low as it is, but I'm not going to go there. Instead, let's go to the big Sunday night game for game number 2. It is going to be number 5 LSU taking on the 8th ranked Florida State Seminoles. And, just like last year, these two teams faced each other to start their season. Just like last year, they faced each other on the Sunday night of Labor Day weekend. But unlike last year, they face each other as ranked opponents, both inside the top 10. They're both legitimate title championship contenders, or it just feels that way for now. Now, after this game Monday night, one team's hope of that dream season is going to seem a lot more realistic than the others. I look at LSU, and they're going to try and control the ground game on both sides of the ball. And I think if they do that, the Tigers should have enough to win. But Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis, can do it all. And he has playmakers around him, like receiver Johnny Wilson, Michigan State transfer Keon Coleman. These two teams, they're pretty evenly matched. I think it could go either way, but I think Jaden Daniels, the quarterback of the LSU Tigers, is going to provide some late game heroics and do just enough. Again, laying under a field goal in this one is LSU. I think they get it done here. It's going to be another close one. I think this game will be in the mid to high 20s. I will take the Tigers, though, laying the 2.5. And if you want to talk about them being repeat winners there in the SEC West, they got to get this win. And I think Brian Kelly's squad has just enough to get it done. Florida State definitely, though, is a team to watch there in the ACC, but I just don't think they have enough in this matchup. I trust Jaden Daniels a little bit more, and I'm going to take the Tigers minus the 2.5 in game number 2. Game number 3, let's go to Labor Day night. That'll be my birthday. I won't be able to watch this game live. I won't be able to watch the Sunday night game live. I'll have a DVR and watch it the next day. And a little birthday matchup for me on Labor Day night. 9th-ranked Clemson taking on the Duke Blue Devils. Clemson laying a big 13-point number in this one. And when I look at this matchup, this looks like a cool basketball game. When you think of the Blue Devils, the first thing you think about them is with basketball and in lacrosse. But all eyes and media attention on this one's going to be on Clemson and their quarterback, Cade Klubnik, who we saw late last year and also in the ACC championship, and really the Clemson offense. But don't sleep on the Clemson defense, even though they lost a couple of guys through the draft this past year. I think that's going to be the start of their season, and they've got several top NFL prospects on them. They've got good depth on defense, and I think also starts with one of the best lines in the country. But at the same time, I have concerns about Clemson's offense. I don't know how good Cade Klubnik's going to be. And also, don't blow off the Blue Devils just because of their brand name. They won the Blue Devils won 9 games last year. Their 4 losses were by combined 16 points. So they keep games close, and they have a solid offensive front loaded with veterans. Their defense, I think, is going to be great at forcing turnovers again. And their secondary is going to sneakily be among the best in the ACC as the season goes on here. So for all of Clemson's positives that we were talking about, it has to get past the turnover issues of last season. Their downfield passing game needs to show up, and the consistency has to be there. And again, I think Duke has a quarterback who's good enough to handle the pressure and the spotlight of this game. And as long as he's able to keep the chains moving and control the running clock, Duke was 11th in the nation last year in time of possession. And it'll be interesting to see, especially with the new clock rules. So I do see Clemson winning this one. I'm not going to go that insane and say that Duke wins this game outright, but I don't see Clemson winning this game by more than 2 touchdowns on the road. College football is crazy. Weeknight games are different animals than playing on Saturday. So I am going to take Duke getting 13 in this one. Again, I see Clemson winning it, but I even could see them winning it by 10. So give me the Blue Devils getting the 13 at home in what should be a very underrated and intriguing ACC matchup on Labor Day night. So 2 favorites and a dog kind of in our 3 picks this week. I'm going to take the Tar Heels that are laying 2.5 against the Gamecocks. I'm going to take, in a battle of top 10 matchup on Sunday night, I'm going to take the Tigers minus the 2.5 over the Seminoles. And I'm taking the Blue Devils getting 13 at home against the Clemson Tigers on Labor Day night. And that's how we do with our picks here for week number 1, the first real week of college football. And it's like a 5-day work week. Like I said, you've got games Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Take it all in and enjoy it, because college football is back and it's going to fly by like it does every year. For more, you can like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameOnETB, or X, I should say, at GameOnETB. You can follow me on Twitter at Montalbano NY. Check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ETB Network, where if you like our Monty moments, please leave us a like. If you're new, hit that subscribe button And of course, now more than ever, have your notifications set so you never miss another Montie moment or any of our great programming here on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network. You can also check us out on our website at etbpodcast.com for great blog posts from all of our ETB contributors. And if you're on the go, check us out on your favorite audio platform, wherever you get your podcasts, Acast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get them. And that's how you do it here. And of course, and a quick programming note about next week, because next week is where we're really going to get these Montie moments going for real. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will have our first Thursday night game to preview for you. That'll, of course, be between the Lions and the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern here on the Montie Moment, we will get you ready for week number 2 of the college football season, previewing it, give you 3 picks like we always do. And then next Friday on September the 8th at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, our first Football Friday of the year. And if you watched our Football Friday clips segments last year, they were nice, but this year we're going to take them to a whole new level. So check us all out there. And again, have your notifications set so you never miss any of those. This has been a Montie Moment. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. I'm Johnny Montalbano.